Have you ever lit a grill after work, stared at the flame, and felt oddly proud that at least one thing in life still obeys you? Now, imagine doing that on Mars. Because at the end of this story, there is a specific surprise. The first real Martian fire will quietly remind you how much control you assumed you had back on Earth. You arrive on Mars carrying habits that survive decades. Morning coffee, warm hands, the belief that if something goes wrong, you can fix it with heat. Fire is not entertainment, fire is reassurance. So the first question you ask is simple and very human. Does it still work? You flick a lighter. Nothing happens. No flame, no warning, just silence. Mars has an atmosphere, technically, the same way decaf is technically coffee. Mostly carbon dioxide, stretched thin across the planet. Fire looks at it and politely declines. That moment hits harder than expected. On Earth, fire is a problem you try to prevent. On Mars, fire is something you miss. Cold is no longer weather, cold is policy. You build a pressurized habitat. Oxygen flows. Pressure stays lower than Earth because thicker walls mean heavier cargo, and heavier cargo means fewer chances to come back alive. You try again. This time, the flame appears. It looks off. Lower gravity means hot air rises slower. The flame spreads wider, flatter, less eager, like a guy who shows up to work but stopped caring years ago. Cooking stops being relaxing. Water does not boil the way your instincts expect. Food heats unevenly. You start standing there watching a pot like it owes you money. You realize most of your confidence on Earth came from physics doing free labor in the background. Outside, Mars stays unimpressed. Fuel spills on red dust and nothing happens. No ignition, no danger. The planet itself does not burn, only your little bubble does. Fire becomes a private issue, like arguing with your thermostat at 3 in the morning. Then reality tightens the screws. Every flame consumes oxygen and replaces it with carbon dioxide. On Earth, the atmosphere absorbs your mistakes and never sends an invoice. On Mars, every fire shows up on the balance sheet. Burns something now, and later you're turning off lights, fans, or comfort. Fire stops being emotional. It becomes budgeting. Distance makes it worse. Mars sits far enough away that messages to Earth arrive late. When something goes wrong, advice shows up after the decision already mattered. Navigation feels the same. No roads, no exits. Dust storms erase tracks. Satellites help, but not enough to relax. You trust your own measurements because hesitation is the most expensive habit you can bring with you. Mars does not shift under your feet. Its tectonics are quiet. No moving plates, no natural resets. Marks stay, scars stay, soot stays. Fire leaves signatures that do not fade, like a mistake written in permanent marker. Slowly, something changes in you. Fire stops feeling comforting. On Earth, a flame invites you to slow down. On Mars, it demands discipline. You know exactly how long you can afford to let it burn. You stop lighting it for atmosphere. You light it only when the return justifies the cost. Here is the promised surprise. Under certain conditions, fire on Mars can burn faint and nearly invisible, hot enough to hurt you before you even realize it exists. The most dangerous flame is not dramatic. It does not roar. It waits. Mars teaches a quiet lesson that feels uncomfortably familiar. The biggest risks are often the ones that look manageable until they're not. So let me ask you this. If you lived in a place where every flame spent your air, your margin, and your control, would you still light one just to feel normal for an evening? Or would you accept the cold and keep command of your world? Write what you would choose and be honest about why.